Are you someone who is struggling in getting started and even making that first phone call or not being able to start with your surplus funds business? Without these 3 habits, you will not have success. Watch this video and learn how to be successful in your surplus funds business. So the first habit that I see, and many people struggle with this, and I did for a long time, is having a stable work environment. Now, what do I mean by having a stable work environment? So I have 2 little kids at home that are great little guys, and I love them a lot. I've been really blessed with them. But I remember one day I was at home trying to work at my desk on my computer, and my son said, "Hey, Dad, I'm helping you." And he took a paper off my desk. To this day, I have no idea what it is. He actually took this paper off my desk and put it in the paper shredder. I'd be on the phone with someone, and my 2-year-old at the time would be running in, screaming, or something would be happening, and I did not have a stable work environment. So what I had to do in my business is a lot of times when I got off of teaching, I would go down to Coffee Bean and I would put on my headphones, I would make calls, I'd get my own table, and I had a stable work environment at Coffee Bean where I did tens of thousands of dollars of business sitting at a table by making phone calls and calling people. Another area is with your work environment is sometimes when I'd sit down at my home office, I would start looking at, like, I'd see a book in the background and say, oh, I need to read that. And then I'd look at something on my desk, oh, I need to file this. And then I'd look at my file cabinet and it would go on and like, what else I need to do? When you're working this business, you need to be focused on this business. That means if you need to take your cell phone and put it in the next room, although you're going to be making calls, or you need to turn off or any notifications on it, you need to turn off the social media. And you might say, oh, I'm just looking at Facebook. Well, okay, you look at Facebook. So I'm going to get into teaching here. As you guys know, I was a teacher. If I was teaching and someone was on their cell phone texting a message, at most, they would retain 35% of what was being taught at that moment. If they were doing a multitask text, meaning they were receiving one and saying, oh, I have to also let so-and-so know, at most, they would retain 15%, if even that. Where am I going with this? If you don't have that stable work environment that I'm talking about, and you're texting, you're looking at social media, and you're doing personal stuff, you're not going to be able to retain who you're calling, why you're calling. You have to be in the moment with that stable work environment. You have to be able to tell someone why you're calling them, and you have to be ready for all sorts of questions. How did you get my information? And this we go over in other videos. If you look at some of my earlier videos, I go over a lot of script. Well, great question. This is public information. I pull this up, and here's how I help people, and here's what I noticed about you, and that data saves you. If you're texting and looking at social media and getting in politics and all the other crap that's going on out there, you're going to be distracted. So you need that stable work environment that you can focus on your business. Plus, you will get a lot more done. Even if you're just pulling data. So you're getting leads, you're looking at them, you're looking at the history of the leads, you're looking at who has what, and you're looking at how you're going to call them and pulling up a list. You need to be aware. These are your potential clients. This is you, and this is your business. And with that stable work environment, I'm getting into a lot of other topics here. People don't always see this as their business. You are a businessman or a businesswoman. You're working to get paid. You're working for yourself. You now are controlling your environment. You need a stable environment. So a couple areas that I had the stable environment, like I said, I would do Coffee Bean. And times I had to check with the wife. I'm like, hey, Saturday and Sunday, I want to go down to Coffee Bean for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I want to be able to set up and just be able to work a little bit. Are you okay with that? And I didn't ever do the library because, again, people look at you like they're studying or whatever, and you're on the phone or something. Coffee Bean, no one really cares, or Starbucks, or whatever it is you like. Number 2 is oftentimes I would go into the classroom and I would get there early, and I'd make a few phone calls, or I would stay after school and make phone calls and use that as a work environment. Although a lot of times when I was there, someone would come in for tutoring, someone would come in for help, and I always loved doing that, but I would get sidetracked, so I had to set aside a certain amount of time for that. And for me, working my business, it really wasn't always the best work environment. So have that stable work environment that I'm telling you about. All right, so step number 2 that I'm going to go over is developing good habits versus bad habits. And it's easy to go with both. If your best friend becomes obese and you're both skinny and one of them becomes obese, there's a 60% chance that you're going to become obese. It just happens. You're basically who you hang around, and you have to learn how to be able to develop good habits. Our brain is wired to be rewarded for behavior. And the thought of a reward will often trigger our brain into doing something that we want to do. That's why a lot of people, when you want to do something that you're telling yourself not to, you want to eat some extra snacks at night, your brain's telling you how good it will be, and although you're fighting it and you don't want to do it, you're going to do it. You have to be able to develop good habits. And the way I encourage warriors to be able to do this and to truly be able to change their behavior. So you haven't started this business at all. And what are you trying to do? Well, first of all, you have to get data. And you have to find, I always say you're finding your rhythm. When you find your rhythm in this business, you're finding the area that you want to work in and start with one niche. And a lot of people say that luck favors the persistent. And I agree and I disagree with that. I think the persistent get what they want, and I don't think it's luck. I think they're persistent, and that's why they get what they want. Luck is something that comes your way that just happens to come your way. So, but how does luck favor the persistent? Well, number one is that they're constantly doing it. You're going to do this business, and you're going to have trial and error. I've been told to F off on the phone more than once when I've called people. I've been told to where to go. I've been hung up on. I've handed people checks that have been crying, that have told me how meaningful it is in their life. I've had the privilege of getting people funds. I have a case right now that I'm working where the family had no idea that this existed. I actually have a few like that. I just had a woman that I got paid that her car really needed work, and she was very excited about it. So this all goes with the rewards that I talk about. Yes, I'm going to be told off, and yes, I'm going to be hung up on. It happens. It happens in this business. I'd be lying if I said, in fact, on my Monday cold calls, some of you've heard that. It's seldom, but it happens where someone says, oh, don't effing call me again, click, and it happens. And I wish I could say it didn't. And there was about 8 weeks ago on a Monday where I got 4 yeses within an hour, which never happens. I mean, I get yeses all the time. I get calls back all the time, but I've never had a Monday call with that many yeses. And people were like, wow, this is insane. You're the greatest. You're the best caller. And it's like, no, I've developed a habit of calling people. I've developed a habit of script. I've developed a habit. And again, luck favors the persistent. Well, if you do this and you do it consistently and you know how to do it, luck is going to favor you if that's the phrase that you want to use. But you have to be able to develop good habits. Now, it goes a lot of what I've been saying, and I'm talking about an accountability partner this week. I'm talking about a lot, but and that'll be a separate video. Really, what you have to be able to do is surround yourself with people that you want to be like. And I've always heard people say, you're basically who you hang around, and you say, no, that's not true. As a teacher, I saw it. As an educator, I saw it. In this business, I see it. I see people that jump on the coaching calls, people that ask the questions. In fact, people that ask me the most questions are the most successful in this business. Like 2 or 3 weeks later, they have a deal. You're finding your data. Then you have to be able to start making phone calls. And how are you going to be able to do that? Or contacting your potential clients. How are you going to be able to do that? You have to be able to develop habits to take control. And habits go with systems. One of the biggest things I learned when I started investing in real estate, and then I became into surplus funds, and it rolled right over with me, is how I get deals. A lot of times, like, I want to make $5,000 a month. Is that a goal? Well, a goal can be good, and if I make $5,000 a month, that's great. But what happens after that? I've made the $5,000, and then what? A system, and this is a very good habit to have, will be, okay, I want to make $5,000 a month consistently, or I want to make $5,000 a week. By the way, in this business, it's very easy to make $5,000 a month. A lot of people say, oh, you have to get those habits, you have to get a system down, but you get a system of being able to work and marketing and get deals where you're getting that one goal of $5,000, which is part of your system. You have another goal in the work, and you have another one. That way, when you reach that first hurdle, it's part of your system, and you find that you're constantly going out of that goal, which is a very good habit to have. So you need to be able to have good habits that you're developing in this business. So the third form that's going to be very successful is changing your habits and self-control, and that ties right into each other. Now, what do I mean by that? So a lot of people that I see in this business, when they talk to me, they say, I marketed for an hour. And I'll say, okay, what'd you do in the hour? Oh, well, I just looked at a few leads. Well, is that marketing? In a way it is, because you're getting what you're going to be gathering together. But what did you do with those leads? Did you get phone numbers? Did you run reverse search directories? Did you pull title? Did you do anything with those leads? Or did you just look at a couple leads and jump on social media? So there's self-control. Now, can behavior be changed? So, and yes, absolutely can be. And this goes with changing your environment, which ties right into the first habit that I talked about, in the change of environment. And let me elaborate on this. So in Vietnam, which was a horrible war that the United States was involved in, and I had many family members serving it, there was drug addiction in Vietnam, and there were drugs being passed around there with the American soldiers. When they came back to the United States, 90% of them went through rehab and never touched drugs again. 90% of those that were involved in drug use, that were addicted in Vietnam. Why do people who go to rehab in the United States, why do they go to rehab and why do they go right back to doing what they were doing? It's because they go right back into the same environment that they were in before. So, and I'm giving you an extreme here, but when you change your environment, you develop good habits, this all ties in together. So I talked about changing the environment, about setting goals, about systemizing everything that you're doing, and that's what you're doing. You're also going to start rewarding yourself with doing good behavior, meaning if you market for 2 hours, why not be able to jump on social media or watch your program? But don't allow yourself to do that until after you do your marketing, or make 3 phone calls. After you make 3 phone calls, you can go treat yourself to a certain treat or do something. Even telling someone about it, because you have to understand, why are you so afraid to make those phone calls? Why are you so afraid to market? Why are you so afraid to jump in this business? And it's the biggest thing. Like, some people tell me all the time, oh, David, you're so good on the phone. You're so good. No, I'm really not. I made it a habit to be able to call people and talk to people. And I said my script like I knew it like the back of my hand, so that when people throw, and I have curveballs thrown at me all the time. Like, one of the deals I just got paid on, the woman, it was her late husband. She was remarried. Her house had burned down. I kid you not. This all happened in the deal. Her house burned down, and she had no ID on her, meaning driver's license for the notary, nothing like that. Now, if this had been my first deal, there's no way I would have gotten this lady paid. But we went ahead. We got her to the DMV during COVID-19, mind you. We got her her valid ID. We got these forms notarized. We got everything into the county, and I took full responsibility of getting this woman paid that I got paid. And I've talked about this quite a bit, but it is one of the most remarkable people that I've gotten paid in this business. So you have to be willing to be able to change your habits and reward yourself. And it goes into what I've said in some other videos. What do you want? Why do you want it? And how are you going to get it? And so you sit down, you market, you make a couple phone calls, reward yourself. If you get that first phone call and they're very rude to you, realize that not everyone's like that. I will say that when I pick up the phone and people are calling me, I personally do hate it when someone calls me and they don't know why they're calling me, or they can't tell me why they're calling me. Like they dance around it, and I'm like, why? Like, I had someone not that long ago, and they kept, and I'm like, why are you calling? I hang up on them. Those are the kind of calls I hang up on. Why are you calling? Hey, this is David Church. I'm trying to reach John Smith, and this is all in the script. We give this earlier videos. Yeah, this is John. John, did you know that when the property at 123 Main Street went over foreclosure, it went for more than the asking price? You may have money due back to you. And I pause, and I let him talk, and I hear what he has to say. And then I go, I had to learn that behavior. I had to learn that script. And then you get someone in our program like Lee that's come in, and he's made $100,000 in 3 months. The guy's killed it. And he says, before you hang up, I want to let you know that this call is worth your while. And he uses a completely different script than I do. He's developed a habit, and has he had this habit before from his previous business, has brought it into surplus funds, and it's a habit he has. So you can change into your habits and who you are. And trust me, I used to hate calling people. I felt like I was being scammy and salesy and everything, you name it. And then I had to really look down and really reflect. I'm calling people to let them know that they have money that they didn't know they had. I'm getting people paid on funds. I'm asking for a finder's fee, which is totally justifiable in this business. What I love about it the most is one of my business partners, Spencer Van, great guy. He always says that wholesaling is dead, and he's absolutely right. I'm not putting up like a $10,000, $15,000 for wholesaling. I'm actually just getting a contract out there, getting it back, and I'm getting 30 to 50% of the contract, which is absolutely awesome. So, and this should be in your mind always. If you want to start, like, how many people do you know, they say they're going to go to the gym, and they go to the gym for 3 weeks, and then something happens where their schedule gets interrupted, and it's 2 months before they've gone to the gym? How many people do you know that try to form a habit and they don't? It has to be a habit, meaning if you're going to work out every single day, and you're going to wake up at 5 to do so, and your alarm goes off and you say, I want to sleep in, go to the gym for an extra 30 minutes. Let your mind know that you're going to start taking control of your actions. Start improving. I just recently did a video on self-improvement. If you improve by 1% of every single day, you're going to be 37 times better in a year's time than what you previously were. So if you could take this habit forming, make that one phone call, and start off with one phone call. Even if you leave a message, you've made a one phone call. Practice your script, know it, get used to it, make that one phone call, and then the next day, make another phone call and make another one. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you make one phone call. Then on Thursday, you make 2 phone calls. And then on Friday, you make 4 phone calls. And then you keep this, and I've given videos on this in the past. It's all about habit and forming habits in your surplus funds business, in your tax overage, in your bankruptcy, in your state overages, whatever business you work, you're creating these habits and you're creating these systems that's going to be life-changing for you. So I hope this video has been helpful. Anyone can change their behaviors and get started in their overage business. And this is a great business to be in. You're really rewarding other people. You're looking for that side hustle, that side income. Really, you should be targeting and looking at what you want, putting it in your system, getting many deals under contract, and surrounding yourself with the right people. I hope this video has been helpful. Do me a favor, give me a thumbs up if it is. I'm gonna be going over accountability partners this week. I'm gonna be talking about getting started, about scripts and many other things. Do me a favor, subscribe to my channel if you like this, because I'll be going over many more tips with you. Thank you for watching.